Sathinipata. Book 19. Sathinipata. Source. Adapted from archaic translation by H. T. Francis. 529. Jakata number 529. Sonaka-jataka. 1,000 coins, etc. This is a story told by the master, while living at Jetavana Monastery, concerning the perfection of renunciation. On this occasion the Bodhisattva sitting in the hall of truth in the midst of the brethren, as they were singing the praises of the perfection of renunciation, said, "Brethren, not now only, but of old also the Tathagata truly left the worldly life and made the great renunciation," and so saying he told a story of the past. Once upon a time, the Magadha king reigned in Rajgraha city. The Bodhisattva was born to his chief queen, and on his naming day they called him Prince Arindama. On the very day of his birth a son was also born to the royal priest, and to him they gave the name of young Sonaka. The two lads grew up together, and when they were of age they were exceedingly handsome, in appearance not to be distinguished one from another. And they went to Taxila and, after being trained in all sciences, they left that place with the intention of learning the practical uses of arts and local observances, and gradually in the course of their wanderings found their way to Benares. There they took up their dwelling in the royal park and next day entered the city. That very day certain men thinking to make an offering of food to Brahmins provided some rice porridge and arranged seats. And on seeing these youths approach they brought them into the house and made them sit upon the seats they had prepared. On the seat allotted to the Bodhisattva a white cloth was spread, on that assigned to Sonaka a red woolen rug. On seeing this omen Sonaka at once understood that this day his dear friend Arindama would become king in Benares, and that he would offer him the post of commander-in-chief. After they had finished their meal they returned together to the park. Now it was the 7th day since the king of Benares had died and the royal house was without an heir. So the councillors and the rest, after washing themselves, head and all, assembled together and saying, "You are to go to the house of the man that is worthy to be king," they started the festival chariot. On leaving the city it gradually approached the park, and stopping at the park gate, it stood there, ready for any one to mount upon it. The Bodhisattva lay, with his outer robe wrapped about his head, on the royal slab of stone, while the boy Sonaka sat near him. On hearing the sound of musical instruments Sonaka thought, "Here comes the festival chariot for Arindama. Today he will be made king and he will offer me the post of commander. But truly I have no desire for rule. When he is gone away, I will leave the world and become an ascetic," and he stood on one side in concealment. The priest on entering the park saw the great being lying there and ordered his trumpets to be sounded. The great being woke up, and after turning over and lying for a while he rose up and sat cross-legged on the stone seat. Then the priest, spreading out his arms in a pleading attitude, cried, "The kingdom, sire, comes to you." "Why, is there no heir to the throne?" "Even so, sire." "Then it is well," he said. So they appointed him to be king then and there. And mounting him on the chariot they brought him with a vast escort into the city. After a procession round the city he ascended to his palace, and in the greatness of his glory he forgot all about young Sonaka. But when the king was gone, Sonaka returned and sat on the stone seat. And so it was that a withered leaf of a sal tree fell from its stalk in front of him. And on seeing it he cried, "Even as this leaf, so will my body fall into decay." And acquiring supernatural insight by knowing the impermanence of all things he attained to the state of Apaksika Buddha. And at this very instant his characteristic as a layman vanished. And the marks of an ascetic became visible, and saying, "There is no more rebirth for me," In the utterance of this aspiration he set out for the cave of Nandamula. And the great being after the lapse of 40 years remembered Sonaka and said, "Where in the world can Sonaka be?" And time after time calling him to mind he found no one to tell him, saying, "I have heard of him," or "I have seen him." And sitting cross-legged on a royal throne upon a magnificent dais, surrounded by a company of musicians and mimicking dancers, in the enjoyment of his glory, he said, "Whosoever shall hear from someone that Sonaka dwells in such and such a place and shall repeat it to me, to him I promise 100 pieces of money. But whosoever shall see him with his own eyes and shall tell me, to him I promise 1,000 pieces of money." And giving expression to this inspired utterance, in the form of a song, he repeated the first stanza. 1,000 coins for one that sees my friend and playmate dear. 100 lo, I give if one of Sonaka should hear. Then a dancing girl, catching it up, as it were, from his very mouth, sang the words, and then another and another took it up till the whole harem, thinking it was a favorite air of the king's, all sang it. And gradually both townspeople and country folk sang the same song, and the king too constantly sang it. At the end of 50 years the king had many sons and daughters, and the eldest son was called Prince Dayavu. At this time the Paksika Buddha Sonaka thought, "King Arundama is anxious to see me. I will go and explain to him the misery of evil desires and the blessing of renunciation, and will show him the way to become an ascetic." And by his supernatural power he conveyed himself there and took a seat in the park. At that moment a boy 7 years old, wearing his hair in 5 knots, was sent there by his mother, and as he was gathering sticks in the park garden he sang over and over again this song. Sonaka called the boy to him and asked him, saying, "Why, my boy, do you always sing the same song and never sing anything else? Do you not know any other song?" "I know others, holy sir, but this is the king's favorite song, and so I constantly sing it." "Has anyone been found to sing an answer to this song?" "No, sir. I will teach you one and then you can go and sing the answer before the king." "Yes, sir." So he taught him the answer 1,000 coins and the rest of it. And when the boy had mastered it, he sent him off, saying, "Go, my boy, and sing this answer before the king and he will grant you great power. What have you to do with gathering sticks? Be off with you as quick as you can." "It is well," said the boy, and having mastered the answer and saluted Sonaka he said, "Holy sir, until I bring the king, do you remain here." With these words he went off as fast as he could to his mother and said to her, "Dear mother, give me a bath and dress me in my best clothes. Today will I free you from your poverty." And when he had taken a bath and was smartly dressed, he went to the door of the palace and said, "Porter, go and tell the king and say, a certain boy has come and even now stands at the door, prepared to sing a song with you." So the porter made haste and told the king. The king summoned him to his presence and said, "Friend, would you sing a song with me?" "Yes, sire." "Then sing it." "My lord, I will not sing it here, but have a drum beaten through the city and tell the people to assemble together. I will sing before the people." The king ordered this to be done, and, taking his seat in the middle of a couch under a magnificent pavilion and assigning a suitable seat to the boy, he said, "Now then sing your song." "Sire," he said, "you sing first and then I will sing an answer to it." Then the king sang first, repeating this stanza. 1,000 coins for one that sees my friend and playmate dear. 100 lo, I give if one of Sonaka should hear. Then the master, to make it clear that the boy with his hair dressed in 5 knots sang an answer to the song begun by the king, in his perfect wisdom repeated 2 lines. Then up and spoke that little boy, 5 tangled locks he wore. The 1,000 give to me who saw, who heard 100 more. I'll tell you news of Sonaka, your playfellow of past. The verses that follow are to be taken in their obvious relation. Please tell, in what country, realm, or town have you been wandering? And where was Sonaka, my friend, I request tell me, seen? Within this realm, in your own park is many a big sal tree, with leaves dark green and stems so straight, a pleasant sight to see. Their branches densely interlaced, cloud-like, to heaven they rise. And at their foot lo, Sonaka in meditation lies, filled with the Arhat's holy calm, when human passion dies. The king then started in full force, and leveling the road he made his way straight to the place of Sonaka's dwelling. There wandering midst an ample grove within his pleasure ground, all passionless, in saintly bliss, his friend at rest he found. Without saluting him he sat on one side and, by reason of his being himself given up to evil passion, he fancied he was some poor wretch and addressed him in this stanza. His parents dead, with shaven head, clad in monk's robe I see. A wretched brother in a trance, stretched here beneath this tree. On hearing this said Sonaka, he is no wretched creature who in his every action, sire, has sure attained to right. No, rather wretched those who right neglect and practice ill. For evil-doer evil doom is destined to fulfill. Thus did he rebuke the bodhisattva, and he pretending not to know he was being rebuked, talking in a friendly way with him, told his name and family and spoke this stanza. As king of Kasi I am known, Arindama my name. Since coming here, sir, have you met with anything deserving blame? Then the Paksika Buddha said, not merely while living here but nowhere else have I met with any discomfort, and he began to tell in verse the blessings of the monk. Amongst blessings of poor ascetic monk I ever count it one. In jar or a woven basket or granary he stores has accumulated none, but only craves what others leave and lives content on that. The next of all his blessings this is one deserving praise. He free from blame enjoys his food and no one him disputes. Third blessing of the monk I hold is this, that all his days he eats his food in happiness and no one him disputes. The fourth of all his blessings is that wheresoever he goes, he wanders free throughout the realm and no attachment knows. Fifth blessing this that should the town, wherever he may be, perish in flames, he suffers not, for nothing to burn has he. The sixth of all the blessings he may consider to his lot, that if the realm should be plundered, he suffers not a jot. The seventh of the blessings that to poverty he owes, though robbers should his path trouble, and many dangerous enemies, with bowl and robe the holy man ever in safety goes. Last blessing this that wheresoever our wanderer may fare, hermit and poor, he journeys on without regret or care. Thus did the Paksika Buddha Sonaka tell of the 8 blessings of the monk. And even beyond this he could have told of 100. No, 1,000 immeasurable blessings. But the king being given up to sensual desires cut short his speech, saying, I have no need of monkish blessings, and to make it clear how devoted he was to evil passions he said, your many blessings you may praise but what am I to do? Who worldly pleasures, Sonaka, so greedily pursue? Dear are all human joys to me and heavenly joys as well. But how to gain both worlds at once, to me, I request, tell. Then the Paksika Buddha answered him, who greedily on pleasure bent on their worldly lusts would settle, work wickedness for some time, to be reborn in full of suffering state. But they who leave desire behind through life all fearless go, and reaching concentration pure are never reborn to suffering. Here tell I you a parable. Arindama, pay attention. Some that are wise through parable my meaning best may read. sea. Moving along on Ganges river's flooded tide were many dead bodies vast. A foolish crow thought to himself as it was a carriage floating past. Oh, what a carriage I have found and big store of food. Here will I stay both night and day, enjoying blissful mood. So eats he flesh of elephant and drinks from Ganges stream. And budging not sees grove and shrine pass by him in a dream. Thus regardless and on rotting flesh foul, so all intent was he. The Ganges swept him headlong to the perils of the sea. But when with food exhausted he, poor bird, attempted a flight, nor east nor west nor south nor north was any land in sight. Far out at sea, so weak was he, long before he reached the shore. Midst countless perils of the deep he fell to rise no more. For crocodiles and monster fish, where our poor flutterer lay, came voracious all around and quick devoured their quivering prey. So you and all that greedily pleasures of sense pursue, are deemed as wise as was this crow, till you all lusts avoid. My parable proclaims the truth. To it, O king, pay attention. Your fame for good or ill will grow according to your deed. Thus by means of this parable did he taught the king, and, in order to fix it firmly in his mind, he repeated this stanza. In pity once, no even twice, utter the warning word. But keep not on repeating it, like slave before his lord. Thus in his wisdom infinite did Sonaka the seer instruct the king, and then in space straightway did disappear. This stanza was inspired by perfect wisdom. And the Bodhisattva stood gazing on him as he passed through the air, so long as he remained within the range of his vision. But when he had passed out of sight, he was greatly agitated and thought, this Brahman, low-born fellow that he is, after scattering the dust from his feet upon my head, though I have come from an unbroken line of nobles, has disappeared in the sky. I must today renounce the world and become a religious. So in his desire to join the ascetic and give up his kingdom he repeated a couple of stanzas. Where are my charioteers, sent a worthy king to find? I would not longer reign. From now on my crown I have renounced. Tomorrow one may die, who knows? I'll be ordained today. Otherwise, like the foolish crow, I fall beneath passion's harmful sway. On hearing him thus abdicate his throne his counselors said, You have a son, Dyavu named, a handsome prince is he. By ceremonial sprinkling raise him to the throne, for he our king shall be. Then, beginning with the stanza spoken by the king, the verses in due order are to be understood in their obvious relation. Then quickly bring Dyavu here, a handsome prince is he. By ceremonial sprinkling raise him to the throne, for he your king shall be. When they had brought Dyavu there, their nursing king to be, his sire addressed his darling boy, an only son was he. Full 60,000 villages I once did claim as mine. Take them, my son, to you from now on my kingdom I renounce. Tomorrow one may die, who knows? I'll be ordained today. Otherwise, like the foolish crow, I fall beneath passion's harmful sway. Lo! 60,000 elephants with splendor all decorated, with waist belts of gold, saddle clothed with ornamental dresses golden bright, each ridden by his own mahout, with spiked hook in hand. Take them, my son, I give 'em you as ruler of the land. Tomorrow one may die, who knows? I'll be ordained today. Otherwise, like the foolish crow, I fall beneath passion's harmful sway. Lo! 60,000 horses here, decorated in bright dress. Sind horses, all of noble breed and swift of foot are they, each ridden by a henchman bold, with sword and bow in hand. Take them, my son, I give 'em you as ruler of the land. Tomorrow one may die, who knows? I'll be ordained today. Otherwise, like the foolish crow, I fall beneath passion's harmful sway. Lo! 60,000 cars all yoked, with banners flying free. With tiger skin and panther hide, a gorgeous sight to see. Each driven by armored charioteers, all armed with bow in hand. Take them, my son, I give 'em you, as ruler of the land. Tomorrow one may die, who knows? I'll be ordained today. Otherwise, like the foolish crow, I fall beneath passion's harmful sway. Lo! 60,000 cows so red, with bulls on every hand. Take them, my son, I give 'em you as ruler of the land. Tomorrow one may die, who knows? I'll be ordained today. Otherwise, like the foolish crow, I fall beneath passion's harmful sway. Here twice 8,000 girls fair in good garments stand, with many a jeweled bracelet decorated and rings upon each hand. Take them, my son, I give 'em you, as ruler of the land. Tomorrow one may die, who knows? I'll be ordained today. Otherwise, like the foolish crow, I fall beneath passion's harmful sway. They say to me, your mother dear, alas, poor boy, is dead. I cannot live without you too. All joy from life is fled. As close behind old elephant a young one often is found, moving through mountain pass or wood, over rough or level ground. So bowl in hand I'll follow you, wherever you may lead. Nor shall you find me burdensome or difficult to feed. As often some ship of merchants seeking gain at any cost is swallowed by a whirlpool and both ship and crew are lost. So otherwise I find a stumbling block in this cursed boy. Install him in my palace there all pleasures to enjoy, with maids whose hands caressing him with shining gold are bright, like sack amidst his nymphs divine, he'll ever take delight. Then brought they Prince Dyavu to the palace, home of joy, and seeing him these girls fair addressed the royal boy. Who are you? Angel, musician god, or Saka known to fame, dispensing alms in every town? We gladly would learn your name. No angel I nor musician god nor Saka known to fame, but heir to King of Kasi, Prince Dyavu is my name. So cherish me and happy be, each one as wife I claim. Then thus unto Dyavu, their sovereign lord, these girls said, where has the king a refuge gained, and where is he fled? The king escaped from miry ways is safe upon dry ground. From thorns and jungle free at last the high road he has found. But I am set upon a path that leads to full of suffering state. Through thorns and jungle on I press to reach an awful fate. Welcome to us, as lion is to cubs in mountain lair. Bear sway from now on, our sovereign lord, the true and rightful heir. And having so spoken they all sounded their musical instruments and all manner of song and dance took place. And so great was his glory that the prince intoxicated by it forgot all about his father, but exercising his rule with justice he fared according to his deeds. But the bodhisattva developed the supernatural faculty resulting from meditation and passed away to the Brahma world. The master here ended his lesson and said, not now only, brethren, but also of old the Tathagata truly made the great renunciation. And he identified the birth, saying, at that time the Paksika Buddha obtained nirvana, the son was the young Rahul, and King Arindama was I myself.